All right, guys, we're getting everything all powered up. So as you pop in, let me know. It shows 2 of 2 connected, so we should be on Facebook. We should be on YouTube. GC calls. Freddie, how you doing? Gentry, how you doing, bud? Okay. Looks like we are up on Facebook, up on YouTube, up on Instagram. So, thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. Hey, nice shirt. Yeah, you like that, Jack? You have one just like it? I know. So, Ron got your face box. Gentry, great. How are you? I'm doing good, bud. Okay, I need to change one thing real quick over here on Instagram. There we go. Okay, we're getting a few people tuning in on Instagram. We're getting people on Facebook, YouTube. Nice. Bill, good evening. How you doing? I'm getting one in green when they come in. Actually, Freddie, the green one's going to be different. It's not going to be this. Green one is going to have the different front logo. This ECA will be right here on the back, just under the collar. So, gray's going to be this one. Green will be the other. Boss Elk Hunter, hello, hello. Rod, how you doing? Jay Colley, I'm here. So, okay, we'll wait just another minute or two, get going. Tonight we're going to kind of be kind of across the board. We're going to talk about a little bit of myself, my background, where Elk Calling Academy came from. Uh, um, Gentry, I like that. You're over on YouTube and you're tuning in on Facebook or Instagram. I like it. So anyways, a little bit about my background, where I've come from in the industry. Why did I start Elk Calling Academy? What is Elk Calling Academy? How can it benefit you? And then, of course, just like always, answer your live questions. So if you've got questions, make sure that you throw them in the comments. If this is your first time here, welcome. Make sure that you like, subscribe, or follow, depending on which platform you're on. So I noticed quite a few new people kind of following in the last couple of days. So green makes me look taller. I'll wait. I like that. That's Facebook. Okay, when will these be available? Actually, these shirts are available now. If you go to our Facebook page, they are available, ready, shipping. So grab them. Hats actually ship next week, so hats will be available, and working on a couple of other things too. Rich Sampson from YouTube, newbie to elk hunting. Welcome, welcome. So, all right, let's get going. So, hey everybody, Michael Batiste from the Elk Calling Academy. Welcome to Wapiti Wednesday Q&A. So, like I said, if this is your first time here, the way this works is I generally have a topic or two that I will start talking about. And then as you guys put in your live questions, we kind of go through those live questions and answer them as we can go. Everything about this live Q&A is to help you guys shorten that learning curve so that you find success faster out in the elk woods. Now, because of the private lessons, the one-on-one lessons that I do, there is some information that I can't go into, but I will definitely let you know if we kind of get into that realm based on your questions. So, all right, Facebook, Tony Walker, hello. John Tim, I am doing well, thank you. How are you? Scott, you started without me. Scott, I start without you pretty much every week. How much are they? The t-shirts are $24.99. It is front, it is back, so it has the ECA logo on the front. On the back, it actually says Elk Calling Academy. So there's my little bit of modeling. That's all you guys are going to get. So, all right, so let's talk about, me and my background. So I started archery hunting for elk back in the late 80s. When I started, there were no videos around. really everything that you learned was out there in the field. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have seminars, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it was just really, really getting, popular. And for the longest time, I didn't even use a diaphragm reed. I used open reed cow calls, external reed bugles. I didn't have anybody to teach me calling. It was everything that I learned on my own. I managed to find, some pretty good, nice moves. Yeah, thank you. So, um, pretty much I learned was just trial and error out there, and it really wasn't until 93 or 94 when I moved to Idaho and got in with a group of guys. And that's when I really, really got passionate about elk hunting and really started, learning diaphragm reeds and gagging on them and slobbering and figuring it out. And I managed to land a couple of positions within the hunting industry. Bugling bull game calls. It's now Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls, owned by Rocky Jacobson. I spent 10 years with that company. Rocky's right-hand guy, filming for the DVDs, traveling around doing sports shows, doing seminars all over the Northwest and up into Canada. I resigned from Rocky's company about 5 years ago. Kind of acted as an independent for a little bit, working with other call companies on developing their reeds. Some of those reeds are still on the market today. Then I took a position as pro staff director for Point Blank Hunting Calls, which is the old Larry D. Jones call company. And then just started working with, other companies. And, kind of funny story about how Elk Calling Academy got started is I got a phone call from a local archery shop here, and they said they had a guy come in that wanted some lessons and he was willing to pay. And I had worked with people in the past, and I told him, not a big deal, just give me his phone number, I'll call him. From the time I hung up the phone until the time I called him, it was funny. One of my kids came up and said, Dad, I want to take swimming lessons. And that's when it kind of dawned on me and went, wait a minute, we can pay for swimming lessons, guitar lessons, drum lessons, dance lessons, banjo lessons, pretty much all this other stuff. Why not elk calling lessons? Because I remember what it was like when I started. It would have been great to have somebody there to, say, hey, do this or try that. Or it definitely would have lowered the frustration for sure. So that is how Elk Calling Academy came about. It's basically sharing with you guys the knowledge that I've learned over the 30 years and have enjoyed tremendous success all on public land in multiple states. I've hunted Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Colorado. So I have hunted, a few other states, and like I said, all on public land. So there's a few things that I've kind of learned over that time frame, and we've talked about a few of them. Definitely match your surroundings. But I was on a lesson tonight, and we were kind of talking about a few things, and it just dawned on me. And I think one thing that a lot of people struggle with is that they don't really, they want to be successful, but they don't put the time in. I mean, yeah, they put the time in training their body. They put the time in tuning their equipment, shooting their equipment, and becoming efficient at that. But, quick question. How many of you really study elk? How many of you really study their behaviors, their body language, their vocalizations? So, I think that's one of the things that really leads to a lot of success is really understanding the quarry that you're chasing. And in tonight's lesson, we were talking about nervous barks. And what kind of got me thinking about this is, so many people, when they just hear a nervous bark, they think it's over. That's it. The elk are done. And that's not the case at all. But really, what also got me thinking was because there's a nervous bark, and then there's something else that's called a roundup bugle that bulls will do. So even though with that roundup bugle has kind of a soft bark at the beginning of it, um, a lot of people, as soon as they hear that, because they haven't studied, because they haven't learned the vocalizations or the behaviors, they're immediately like, wow, this bull's barking at me. He's not comfortable. And, or, yep, it's done. He saw us or winded us or this or that. And they throw their hands up in the air and off they go. But had they put the time in to study elk and study their vocalizations, they would have known what the situation was. And I think, this kind of ties into last week with understanding elk vocalizations. Understanding what's going on and understanding the situation allows you to do the right vocalizations back, the vocalizations that fit with that current scenario and what's going on. So, Rod Iverson, what's your favorite state to hunt? That's a tough one because, Montana, we had a blast when we hunted Montana. We actually didn't even get over to Montana until October 1st. What's kind of cool is October or Montana goes until middle of October. And so, we hunted the whole month of September here in Idaho and then went over to Montana for, those last couple of weeks. Got into a lot of bulls, got into a lot of big bulls over there. The terrain was interesting. Colorado was an insane amount of elk. I think one day over there, the best day we had, got 26, 27 bulls in one day going. It was unreal. And the quake and aspens. I love hunting elk in quake and aspens when they're golden, and Colorado is perfect for that. I just don't like the drives. So, it's really hard with me being here in Idaho that I can drive an hour and a half, 2 hours from my house, be in camp, be in elk, versus driving, 10 plus hours to go to Colorado or Montana. So I'm going to lean right now, Idaho is my favorite state, just because the diversity that we have to hunt elk in this state. We can hunt them in the thick pines, we can hunt them in the junipers and cedars, we can hunt them in the sagebrush flats, a mixture within the area that we're hunting. So really, really a good mix here in Idaho. So is Idaho an easy draw? There's actually a lot of areas here in Idaho that are over the counter. A lot of those areas are capped to non-residents. Those tags go on sale in December. They're on sale for non-residents right now. So you could certainly go online and get, a non-resident tag for Idaho. Looks like, Rod, you're from Wisconsin. So 1,150 miles from Wisconsin to where we hunt. Yeah, that's a pretty good jaunt for you guys. So, but that's the case with a lot of people, in the middle part of the United States to the eastern part. They have to travel quite a bit. So, and that's one of those things that, doing the studying, putting the time in, making the most, especially for you guys, because that's a pretty good expense for you guys to come out to, whatever state you come out here and hunt. Honestly, if I was going to steer somebody to a state right now, I would say, for over-the-counter opportunities, Colorado, just because of the number of elk that are in Colorado. So you guys hit Montana. So, yeah, There's good pockets in Montana too, but just with the elk numbers I saw a lot more in Colorado than what I did in Montana. But then again, the time of year that we were there too. So, um, there's definitely a lot of services out there for you guys that are out of state, that you can really narrow it down and find some good information. I would more say, you know, do the on hunt. I think it's on hunt or Huntwise. I don't remember. Anyways, there's a program out there that really gives you guys some great information. So Mark, Michael, and I should hook up and go. Yeah, I know, Mark. We never have shared a camp together or gone. So all right, Scott Schmid, lessons of well spent. Thank you, appreciate that. The ever famous good one, Dave. I'm still learning. I study elk from early April to January. Does the habitat affect vocalizations used by the elk, high desert versus pine or cedars? They're still going to be vocal. The thing is it doesn't affect their vocalization so much, Rich, as it affects their behavior a little bit more. Because when it's, high desert and open, um, they can see a lot farther. So they can see where that elk is, making the sound. They don't have to get as close as they do in thicker vegetation. So your setups are really, really critical. Um, when you're in more open areas like that, you really have to use topography, lay of the land. And I mean, your setup is the most crucial piece anyways. So you just kind of have to think a little bit differently when you're more wide open. Go Hunt. Thank you guys. Go Hunt is the app. So, all right. Boss Elk Hunter from Instagram. What's your favorite bow brand? I've been a fan of PSE for years. I have shot other brands. I was actually a factory shooter for Bowtech for a little while. But PSE is just a bow brand that I keep going back to. It fits my style. I did shoot Hoyt for a couple of years. I shot Matthews for 1 year. But PSE really, really keeps drawing me back. Currently right now I'm shooting the Carbon Stealth that they came out with last year. Although I will be honest, I am really curious about the new Matthews Traverse. I have a friend that was a diehard Hoyt shooter and factory staff shooter for 20 plus years. He actually just switched over to that Matthews Traverse this year after shooting it. So I'm kind of curious. I definitely want to go in and shoot it. So PSE is the best show on the mountain. They make good bows. So, all right, Rich Sampson already bought archery tag for 2019, traveling from Minnesota. Very nice. Best of luck to you guys. Safe travels. So, Idaho Outdoor Addict. Do you hunt any other game than elk? Absolutely. So I'm out there all year. So hunt turkeys and bear in the spring, in the fall. Archery for elk is kind of my time. And then, we rifle hunt for deer where I go with my wife and my kids. Um, you know, Antelope hunting, do predator hunting during the winter. So, yeah, it definitely is any opportunity I can to get out there. Spring turkey and spring bear, I actually use it kind of as early scouting for elk, and always checking out new areas, while I'm out. So, but yes, definitely do hunt other things besides just elk. So I know down here where I do all this, I just have only elk. Up in the living room, though, there's antelope and deer and bear rugs, and so definitely do get out after more. So, okay, so yeah, education, kind of getting back on this. So, and since you guys were nice enough to help me with the Go Hunt app, um, the Go Hunt app is one of those things that I'm kind of curious how many of you will kind of research Go Hunt or even go to the fish and game offices for the state that you're looking at and start looking at harvest statistics, success ratios in the area that you're going. But also taking that a step further, because I know a lot of states will give you a success percentage, but then they'll also give you a percentage of 6 point or larger within those harvests. So you can really get a good idea of the size of animals in these areas that you're looking at. But in the comment section down below, or in the live chats, let me know how many of you guys have actually picked up the phone and called a fish and wildlife biologist in the state that you were looking to go hunt, or even for those of you guys that hunt your local state, how many of you have ever picked up the phone and called a game biologist? So let me know in the comments. Would love to hear. Mark, you need to draw a sheep tag in Nevada. I'll guide you. Yeah, I've got a few things on my hit list. So desert bighorn, Dall sheep, mountain goat. So let's see. Is it Sir Richter's? Okay. This year it seemed I was getting more responses if I was higher than or equal in elevation to the elk. Was it by chance, or is this something? No, your chances of getting response and also really calling in that bull are going to be dramatically higher when you're on that same elevation or same plane with the elk. And that's one of those things that, again, it kind of goes into understanding elk behaviors, understanding how they move. If they're down in the bottom of a canyon feeding early in the morning, and then they're working up onto the hillside, and you go bebopping into that canyon in the morning, late morning, and you start tooting, and they haven't heard, elk down there. They're all used to elk being up on, their level. You're more apt to have them respond once you're up on that level, because that's what they're used to. They're used to hearing elk up on that level. And plus, the fact that you're up on that level, thermals are in your favor. It's more naturally relaxing for them, because nobody really has the advantage. There's not the higher ground, lower ground. You're kind of on that even keel. So that's the reason that you're getting more responses when you're kind of on the same elevation with them. So hot sense. All the time they're public servants. That's our job, is to pass on pertinent information that you asked for. Do not be afraid to call them. They will give you the honest truth. At least they do in Nevada. And that's exactly the point that I was going to get to right there. It's amazing the information that you can get by calling a biologist. These are the people that are out in the field in that area that you're looking to hunt. They're monitoring their herds. They're watching the activity. They know the health of the herds. They have a pretty good idea of bull to cow ratio. And a lot of times you can get some really, really good information from them and really narrow down some of these information and pockets that you're looking for, especially with you guys that are coming out from, back east, and you're having to travel so far. You don't have the access to scout on a regular basis. Like some of us that live out here, that, we can jump in the truck and drive 2 hours and we're scouting for elk, and, you guys are driving for 20 hours. So use these free resources that are there for your advantage. Do as much homework as you can. Another thing, go to a library, pull up elk behavior, pull up elk biology, read about these guys, pull up YouTube, watch videos, watch their behaviors, listen to their vocalizations. These are all things and tips that are really, really going to help you out in the field, because knowledge is power. The more you understand, the more you recognize, and the more natural it becomes. So, we talked about it last week, with the location versus, the challenge bugle and the difference. Well, if you haven't listened to a ton of elk, you can misconstrue what's what that elk is saying, and then you say something that doesn't even fit within the realm of what you're trying to do, the picture that you're trying to portray. Remember, calling, what we're doing is basically just trying to give that elk a reason to come in, but it's got to fit, it's got to make sense. So I touched on it um, a week or two ago about traveling to a foreign country, um, where they don't speak English. You can run around and speak English all day long and try to convey and ask, and they're just not going to understand. But as soon as you do a little bit of research and understand that language there, you're going to communicate a whole lot better, and your time's going to be a whole lot more enjoyable. So, Jack from Facebook, what are your thoughts on hunt and fool? Um, I'm still on the fence about that one, Jack. I know a few people that are involved, with Hunt and Fool. I kind of looked into it a little bit when they first really got going and didn't really dive too deep into it. I really need to look at it a lot closer. So I'm going to take the easy way out on that, Jack, and just tell you I'm kind of on the fence a little bit. So bugle me this. I look at previous harvest stats, find who the regional biologists and wardens are as forms of research. Perfect. And that's exactly what you want to do. Look at the historical stats in that area that you're looking at. Because it could be that if you just look at the previous year, it could have been something in that year that was out of the norm. Maybe there was a large fire in the unit next to it, and it pushed a lot more elk numbers into that area. So now all of a sudden you're seeing inflated harvest, stats for that area. And if you didn't go back, 5 years and look at the stats for each of those years, if you only looked at that one year, you're like, holy cow, this thing's a gold mine. Then you go there and it's a ghost town. There's not much at all. And then you're left scratching your head going, well, wait a minute, this is not depictive of the information that I saw. So that's why when you're doing, your research, go back more than just the previous year. I like going back at least 5 years and kind of getting a 5-year average, especially when I'm looking for, new spots. So D-Rock DPew, I try to use all the above, any resources that are available. Yes, I've called and spoke with them. Perfect. Barry, yes. Lucas, I've chatted with Fish and Wildlife. Scott, I've called a biologist and called enforcement officers several times, both very helpful. Perfect. So, yes. So, Charles from YouTube, hey Michael, how was your New Year? It was good. It was low key. We all just stayed in and played games with the kids, played board games and stuff. They had friends come over, and so it was kind of a low key. I did actually make it to midnight. I think I got into bed 12:01, 12:02. I didn't make it too much after midnight. So Grindhard Outfitters, units change from year to year. I assume, Grindhard, that you mean the statistics of the units change from year to year. So, which, yeah, I'm definitely going to agree with you. There's a lot of factors that can, look in there, and that that just reminded me of something else. When you guys are looking at these stats, don't just look at the percent for success. So also look at the number of tags, the number of days. I mean, look at all of that information. Get that whole picture, because again, it could be an odd year where you look at a unit, high success rate, but it could have had, for some reason, quite a bit lower number of actual people hunting it. So again, that's going to skew that information. So again, that's just another reason why you want to get at least that 5-year average on number of hunters, the success ratio, and of that success ratio, how many were 6-point or larger. Then it goes into, what do you want? Do you want any elk? Do you want a 6 point or larger? So, these are all information that you need to gather even before you start heading out that way. So, SoCal Gunner, if I draw a Thule elk tag in Cali, would you come out and help? And do Thule elk also act like Rocky Mountain elk? So, SoCal, it would depend on what time of year it was and what I had going on. Now, as far as Thule elk, yes, they will still act like Rocky Mountain. I mean, elk are elk. They still have the rut behavior. They still have the estrus cycle. They still have all that. The one thing that's different is Thule elk's bugle is actually higher pitched. It's quite a bit higher pitched than what the Rocky Mountains are and the Roosevelts are. Um, but as far as their actual rutting behavior and their biology and all that, they're still the same. So they're still going to rut the same. They're still going to behave the same. They're still going to, you know, grow the antlers in velvet, rub the velvet off to get hard horn, get their harems, everything like that. So Thomas John, I want to chase red stag in New Zealand sometime in my life, and I hope that you have a chance to do that. That's a good one to have on the list there. Michael Hamilton from YouTube. I've called the game biologist for the area of Washington that I hunt several times. I've been researching Go Hunt and really interested in it. There is a lot of good information that Go Hunt has. The Go Hunt team actually does put in the work and the effort. And I really think that the information that they provide on each of the zones and each of the units is really accurate. So you really can get a lot of good information on Go Hunt. I know it is a paid app to get into a lot of that information, but they also have some pretty cool giveaways that if you manage to win one of the giveaways, a lot of times the stuff that they give away is actually worth more than what you paid for the app. So, but it is a really, really good tool. I see a lot of advantages with Go Hunt for people that are going out of state. It's a great place to start. I did use it for a little while. I think I paid for it for a year or two. Didn't use it a ton here in Idaho just because, with all the years of hunting here and hunting, different parts of the state, have actually learned, the state. But if you're going out of state or looking for draw hunts, Go Hunt is a great tool. All right, you guys are having great interaction again. I love it. So I know last week Instagram was a great contributor. So Rich Sampson from YouTube. I use the website for Idaho and stats for 2017. In Minnesota, DNR publishes anticipated deer per acre populations throughout the different hunting zones. Yeah, and that's one of the things that you're not really going to find that information online a lot. That's where you're going to have to pick up the phone and really get on the phone with the biologist and the fish and game within those areas, and that's where you can get population numbers, bull to cow ratios. Let's kind of talk about bull to cow ratios and why bull to cow ratios is important. When you're looking for areas to go hunt, you want to find areas that have a higher bull to cow ratio. 25 bulls per 100 cows or 30 bulls per 100 cows. You find areas like that. What that means is during the rut, you're going to have more bulls, which means more competition, which leads to more breeding activity, which means to more bugling, which means to more excitement. So definitely look for those higher bull to cow ratios. If you can find areas that are 25 bull to 100 cows or higher, those are going to be good areas to focus on. Once you start getting down to about 10 bulls per 100 cows or even below 10 bulls per 100 cows, you are going to not find as much bugling activity, not find as much bugling action. They're still going to rut, but honestly, if this bull has a group of cows and there's not another bull around, He's really not going to be bugling that much. He's still going to be doing your lower tones, your glunks, your huffs, grunts, and whines, and that kind of stuff. But as far as really loud vocalizations, he doesn't have to, because he doesn't have to be defensive. He doesn't have to protect and defend those cows as much. So, Kong Valley Collected, good evening, brother. Shit looks great. Just wanted to stop in and say we appreciate you. Jonathan, appreciate that. For those of you guys that aren't familiar, over on Instagram, Kong Valley Collective is a group of guys that are really put together to bring the fun back into hunting. And, the values that, a lot of, we grew up with and had with hunting, they're bringing that back. And right now they're doing 31 days of giveaways. Some pretty cool things they're giving away. So if you guys don't follow them on Instagram, make sure you head over and follow Kong Valley Collective. All right, back to the goodies. Andrew Walla, 35 hours from Texas. That's a long drive. Larry Bennett, I just got back from the Oregon Fish and Wildlife tonight. Had a good talk with them. Outstanding. And yeah, if you guys, if you can even go into, local fish and game, if you are hunting within your own state and you're kind of curious about other areas, you can also go into the fish and game offices, especially I know here in Idaho. You can go in and sit down, and a lot of these biologists will actually pull maps out and really give you some good information. So again, use these tools. Why is Washington State info not included on the Go Hunt site? I don't know. I don't think I thought Washington was on there. I guess I've never really looked close enough to the Washington. I don't know. Let me research that one, and I'll get back to you on that one. I don't have a good answer for that right now. So, Thomas from Facebook, I'm going out to Colorado this summer to scout with my hunting partner. Good luck to you guys. Have a safe trip. Bugled me this. My go-to wildlife biologist told me that she liked how I asked questions, that I just didn't expect her to give me spots to hunt. Moral of the story, be nice and don't feel like you're owed anything. Perfect statement right there. Before you call them, have your questions written down. Have a plan. What information do you want to get? Really, research the area, go through the hunt stats, write your questions down, then get on the phone. They're busy. So if you call them prepared with your questions and do it in a friendly manner and just have a normal conversation with them, you are going to get a ton of info. So, Montvale DM me. Maybe I can donate some stuff. Did I miss something? Maybe I did. I don't know. So, somebody just posted that Jim Carrey passed away today. In total shock. We'll always love Jim. That kind of threw me off. I hadn't heard that. So, GC calls, not to mention your first 46 or so Wapiti Wednesday episodes. Yes, Freddie, thank you for the plug. There's a lot of great tools out there. There's a lot of great resources. Within our YouTube channel, this is the 48th episode of Wapiti Wednesday Live Q&A. We have a whole 12 to 14 video series of Beginner's Guide to Elk Calling Academy. Okay, Mark, Kong Valley. Okay, you threw me off. So, but yeah, there's a lot of great resources, for learning on YouTube. Of course, would hopefully that, you guys find enough information or value in what we're doing that you want to go watch our videos to learn more or come back for more of these episodes. So, Freddie, I like to listen to them while making GCs. I know Jack always likes listening to him while he's running on the treadmill, so I guess it breaks up the monotony. Charles Buchanan, any guys in Lewis County area in here? So if there's anybody in Lewis County, Charles Buchanan from the YouTube channel. Awesome. Looking forward to getting back to our lessons. Yeah, Charles, we still have quite a bit more to go over, but definitely you've enjoyed some pretty good success. So Lucas, after this past season, I'd take any legal bull. So, and that's one of those things that. So I kind of touched on Kong Valley, and I had a chance to call Jonathan Alexander a couple of weeks ago, and I just asked him, what's your mission? What do you want to do with Kong Valley? And I really liked what these guys stand for. We've all seen it, online, and it's getting worse and worse about, what do you think he scores? Or, oh, he's not the biggest on the mountain, or this or that. So these guys are really pushing, to bring the love back, to bring the enjoyment back, to enjoy the journey. Um, Everything about that in what they stand for, I just, really, really like. And, you know, Lucas, you saying you'd take any legal bull. I mean, that's the thing that is the real definition of success. What did you have in your mind going out? What did you want to accomplish? And Lucas, any legal bull, and you go out next year and you punch your tag on any little any legal bull, and that to you is going to be a huge trophy. So something popped in. I like this from Hunt Dornings. Show up at biologist office at 11:55 and take them to lunch. Bring your questions in a notepad. You will fill it up. That is a great piece of advice right there, because you are also giving back to that biologist. You're basically showing that biologist that their time is valuable. I like that. That is a great tip right there. Thank you. So Lucas, go hunt cover Canada. I don't believe it does. I think it's U.S. only. So it's September here yet. So Jay, what is your biggest Pope and Young bull score? Biggest bull that I have is 322. So, but what's funny is every person that I've hunted with and called with or called for over the years has definitely shot much larger bulls than I have. So, for me, it's not, getting a bull that makes the book. For me, it's that experience. Was there something cool that happened during that hunt? Was there something unique about that bull? Was there something unique about the place? And it's those things that, to me, when I look at the rack on the wall, it brings all those memories back, and I get to relive that. Whether it's, like I said, I've been pretty blessed to hunt with some pretty cool people over the years, and so some of those just kind of tie into that. So Zeno, welcome. David Crane, I'm late. Hey, better late than never. Scott, I want to win an elk calling competition this year. Any tips for competing compared to actually calling live elk? Yes. So the way that I call on stage is completely different than what I do out in the field. Competition calling is, one of those things that, each judge looks for something a little bit different. You'll have some judges that look for variety, to where you do a full gambit of different sounds. They'll sit there on your scorecard and they'll tick for all the different sounds that you make, like cow vocalizations. Are you doing, mews and chirps and assembly mews and regathering mews, barks, all this stuff. And then, there's others that want to see control on the reed, that you have full blown control of it, that your note transitions are smooth, that you have the ability to, control those notes going up, that you can hold those notes, that they don't flutter if you hit a long high note. So, yeah, it definitely is a lot different. And also, the reed that I choose for competition versus, what I choose for hunting is a lot different too. you know, when I choose a reed for hunting, I want a reed that I have the ability to do, you know, the full gambit of sounds, that I can do cow vocalizations, bull vocalizations. I have good control on it. It doesn't take much air. But in a competition, I will pick a reed specifically for cow sounds. You know, something that has, you know, good depth and good tone, and bugles. I want something that transitions easy but has, you know, good volume, you know, and good bottom end. And so, yeah, there competition calling is something that is a whole different ball game, you know, from calling out in the woods. I know some guys that are phenomenal competition callers. They're not that great elk hunters, and vice versa. I know some guys that are extremely successful, you know, out in the elk woods, couldn't win a contest to save their life. So definitely something different. So Scott, get a hold of me. We can kind of talk about some, you know, approaches for competition calling. So, Chris, I sure wish work would stop interrupting my viewing. Sorry about that, man. So, Charles, will breeding sequence still work in low bull to cow ratios? It will. I mean, that's the thing with the breeding sequence is it's one of those things that you know, like we've talked about, where um, the bulls recognize their vocalizations. They recognize the sounds that you're making are associated with the rut, and they recognize that. So, yes, it will still be effective. You may not get as much bugling action in return. You may get more slipping in quiet. So, Scott, I'm already a few lessons in and have some fresh Marcos in hand. Yes, on the Marcos. And Scott, make sure you really press that tape on the frame before you really, really get to calling on it. So, okay, bugle me this. No, he's not dead. Okay, probably a social media fact. Okay. Yeah, just that kind of threw me off a little bit there. So, what I miss? Worked late. Jeremy, quite a bit. You're going to have to go back to the start. So, Charles, what do you think of Eastman's members' research? You know, Eastman's does a good job with their research as well. When I kind of compared the two, I think to me, I think I got more value out of Go Hunt than I did Eastman's. I haven't looked at Eastman's in a while, so I don't know if they've changed, you know, their format or changed the type of information they were giving. So this is, you know, a couple of years back. So, you know, Go Hunt at that time definitely had more. If you have the opportunity, maybe reach out to a group of friends. Maybe one of you gets Go Hunt, one of you gets Eastman's, you know, and you guys can kind of compare um, notes from both of them, and just kind of, you know, get a good picture that way. So, Andrew Walla, I have studied the Elk 101 program, most of what the Elk Nut has said, and row resources. Elk Calling Academy is my favorite due to the well-rounded education, not just calling, much appreciated. Andrew, thank you. That is a huge compliment. You know, one thing that I recommend to all the students when I talk about, and, you know, this whole deal with education is, you know, go listen to others. You know, the other programs that you've mentioned, there are some great resources as well. You know, Chris Rowe at Rowe Hunting Resources, he is a biologist, so what he brings in elk behavior on the biology side of it is, you know, some great information. But definitely, yeah, go check out others. If you have opportunities to, you know, go to seminars and listen to other people speak. I still enjoy going to seminars and listen. I'll sneak in sometimes and sit there and listen to the other guys. I mean, it's elk hunting. It's talking elk hunting. So Jack is ripped. He's a workout machine. Good stuff. I sit and make calls. Chunky monkey. Did you hear that, Jack? Freddie's calling you ripped. So, all right, feeding my family is my main goal. Any bull that gives me the opportunity works for me. See, that right there, that is one thing that I absolutely love. It's going out there with a purpose to feed the family. I mean, you know, John, we're the same way. Wild game is all we eat in our house. Um, it's just something that we've always done, especially with my wife having sarcoid, which is an autoimmune disease, which is treated with protein. Well, wild game's the purest form of protein. And we've all seen the memes out there a couple of times lately that, you know what, wild game meat has never been recalled. So I like that. So, okay. Hunt Dornings, just wondering on arrow weight with you and your hunting buddies, high to low end. Hunt, are you talking about what our arrows weigh? So, um, my arrows are about right in that 460 to 465 grain range. So I am switching. I'm going to add about 5 more grains for this year. I'm not sure what the other guys are running. So I think I'm on the heavier end because I run more FOC. I run about 195 grains out front. This year, I'm going to bump that up to 200 grains just for more FOC. Um, for those of you that aren't familiar with FOC, let me know in the comments down below if you guys want to, have an episode one of these nights where we really get into equipment and FOC and speed and all that kind of stuff. I would be more than happy to dive into that with you guys. So, but let me know if that's something that you would be interested in talking about. So, Jay, thank you. Very nice bull. Absolutely. So, Charles, I agree. Elk Calling Academy is amazing. Michael cares and loves to share his knowledge. You guys know that I was going to talk tonight about giving away the champ, and so you guys are just kind of buttering me up to uh, pick a winner, aren't you? So, Danny, watch Corey Jacobson's videos on YouTube. Yeah, go watch Corey's. Go watch, Born and Raised. Go watch Chris Rowe. Any video, The Mountain Project. The Mountain Project has some great elk hunting videos that you can watch and learn some great elk behavior at. Chris Rowe has a YouTube channel, Pure Elevation. So, Angry Spike Productions, Angry Mountain Productions. There's a lot of avenues out there that you can find and really watch and listen to elk. So, Chris, Jack is a beast. Hope I can keep up with him. I thought he was trying to kill me before. Now I'm dead meat. So, um, James Coon, sorry man, I'm late. Helping friend hunt riding mule deer in New Mexico in the snow. What did I miss? You guys are awesome. You should run a contest for winning a hunt with you. That's a tricky situation, Charles. I was actually going to do that a few years ago. Idaho has some really funny laws with illegal outfitting. And so it's something that I'm really, really careful about that I don't want to get tagged. I would love to be able to do that, but just the way the laws are written in Idaho, I think I better stay away from that one. So, Scott, sounds like more lessons are in order. Freddie, you make it to Utah, I'll be there. Hey, Freddie, guess what? I already made it to Utah, so I will be in the finals July 11th through the 13th. So. You will be at Hunt Expo. Yes, I will. So, as a cheerleader, dang it. David, this is off topic and something you really haven't touched on since I have been watching your episodes. What are you doing to stay in elk shape in general? I'm not getting any younger and would love to hunt until I can't move anymore. I know each person is at their different levels in hunting. I'm more of a backcountry guy, but I do hunt with guys that don't like hunting like that. If you could just break down general a workout that work on all levels. Thank you. Yeah, David, I haven't touched a bunch on it. There's a couple of programs that I really support and I believe in. One of them is I Hunt Fit. Neat thing about I Hunt Fit, they offer workout programs, and you can choose your workout program whether you're working out at home or working out at the gym. I do have a gym membership, but because of my schedule, it's really, really hard. So here at the house, I have an elliptical machine. I have a Concept 2 rowing machine. an adjustable bench, adjustable dumbbells, some kettlebells, a couple of battle ropes, and I actually am just getting looking into ordering in some of the TRX bands for body weight and support, and just adding another level. Um, so I'm not one of those guys that work out 7 days a week. David, I'm with you. I'm turning 49 this year, so each year I have to do more and more to get out there and hit the hills. But I really like the program that Matt Hartsky and the team at iHunt Fit puts out, because it's fresh. It's not monotony. You're not doing the same thing. And I know Jack's been doing iHunt Fit, both the workout and the meal planning. Um, so that's another crucial item is, you know, the meal, what you're putting into your body, how you're refueling and recharging in between those. So, but iHunt Fit is definitely a good program that I use. And then Steven, he's on Instagram, HuntFit08, I think is his handle. He just started a new program for backcountry hunting. His program, so okay, iHunt Fit really has 7 days a week workouts. Even though I get the workouts from them, I don't work out a full 7 days. I normally hit 4 to 5 days a week. Steven's program is based on working out 3 days a week. It also does have daily meal prep. It has some coaching calls involved in it. So kind of some neat features on that one. That one's $97 a month, but that's a workout program and a meal plan. I know with the iHunt Fit, it's roughly $25, $28 for the workout, for the 4 weeks. I'm not sure what they charge for the meal prep. I know, Jack does the meal prep as well. So the one thing, David, that I really find here lately is I focus a lot more on movements that kind of give muscle endurance. Still getting muscle strength, but muscle endurance is the bigger thing that I've noticed, especially as getting older. Out there, the endurance is a lot more. So, but yeah, those two programs. I am, excuse me, I am thinking about bringing Matt or Steven on and recording a session with them to dive into, that topic a lot deeper. So maybe I will do that for, future episode here in the next couple of weeks. So, all right, Kendall, I may be going to my first Colorado elk hunt in 2019. What's a good call for a newbie? Kendall, there's a lot of variables in that question. What's a good call? Are you looking for an external reed call? Are you looking for a diaphragm reed call? Can you use a diaphragm? And what I mean by the diaphragm is maybe you've never used an elk diaphragm reed, but how about a turkey reed call? If you're looking for a diaphragm, a really good one for newbie is the Rip It Red from Native by Carlton, the Mellow Yellow Mama from Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls, or the Green Amp from Phelps Game Calls. Those would be three that I would really recommend for a newbie to get started on. So, is Instagram going to kick me off? Looks like Instagram's going to kick us off. So we're at that hour mark anyways, guys. So we're going to wrap it up for tonight. So I know there's quite a few more questions in here. I'm going to go through and write some of these questions, and we will start with some of these questions for next week. Friday's video is the review of the Badlands Sacrifice LS. It will go live on our YouTube channel at 6. So make sure you jump over if you're looking for a new pack this year. Check out the review and see what we think of the Badlands. As far as the champ goes, Okay, for those of you that did not fill your elk tag this year, let me know. Let me know if you did not fill your elk tag this year, and I'm just going to draw one random winner of those that have not filled their elk tag, and I'm going to pick a random winner to win the champ, and I will give that away next week on Wednesday. So, all right, guys. Hey, again, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate your support. Again, another great interactive night. I absolutely would not be able to do this without you guys. So thank you so much. As always, keep calling, keep practicing. Most importantly, have fun while you guys are doing it. And we will see you guys next week on the next episode of Wapiti Wednesday Q&A, brought to you by Elk Calling Academy. Have a great week, everybody.